I have a big forehead. Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, which is a weekday. I'm Duane Whitmer. Here we are for the weekly Whitmer Wednesday. This one's going to be a little bit different. We're not really going to talk about policy or ideas. We're going to more talk about things that have happened recently that lead people like me to question and not really trust and believe the government. Just little things. We're not going to talk about the big stuff, the conspiracies and stuff like that. Just kind of in the light of it's tax season for 2 more weeks. In the light of tax season and knowing that I'm an accountant, we're going to talk about some anecdotal evidence of me working with government agencies that has just gone sideways, just absolute sideways. So we're going to start here. Get a call from a new client. Client did his taxes a couple of years ago, and he screwed up his taxes. And to get in long story short, what happened was he had a credit card machine linked to his side business. He started a new corporation. He's a construction worker, was doing things like as a handyman on the side, started a corporation for the construction company, and runs credit cards through the Square reader that he has. He's running credit cards. So what happens is the Square reader is linked to his social security number, not the corporation. So essentially 2 years go by and he gets a letter from the IRS saying, hey, Joe Smith, you're not reporting your income. You have a 1099-K in your social that isn't listed on your tax return. Therefore, you have unclaimed revenue, unclaimed income. You owe $45,000 in taxes. So he calls me. We sit down. And I say, oh, yeah, this is simple. It's a simple letter to the IRS explaining that, no, this income was already claimed through a business. We're not going to amend your 1040. I'm not going to go into detail what I do. It's a trade secret. Sorry, guys. But essentially, it's a real simple fix. You just got to show that it's not your income and it's not your income and the corporation claimed it. Show the corporate return and everything will be solved. And this was in 2019. It's relevant to why this happened in 2019. So it happens in 2019. We send the letter in 2019. Well, then COVID hits. So he gets a letter saying, hello, Joe Smith. We received your letter and your response. It's going to take time for us to review it. We'll be in touch. This is also in late 2019. As some of you know, during 2020, the novel coronavirus pandemic happened, and the government said, yeah, we're not doing shit. And there was a massive, delay in everything getting solved. So COVID hits, 2020 hits, 2021 hits, 2022 hits. Fall of 2022, late summer, early fall, August, September, October 22, he gets a letter from the IRS saying that there's a federal tax lien on him and his business. Now, mind you, he's leaving New York State because it's a shithole state to do business in. He's trying to sell his business and move out, but he can't because there's a federal tax lien. And with a federal tax lien, if he sells his business, the government will get, it was, I think, $40,000. Now it's like $62,000 with penalties and interest. They take that. So he's like, well, I can't sell my business right now. So this is a problem. So I said, all right, let's make some phone calls. I call some people and I get nowhere because no one... You'd think that you'd call the IRS and say, hey, there's a problem. Let's solve it. Well, you got to send it to Kansas City. Well, we sent it to Kansas City. Here's proof. We sent 3 different things of paperwork to Kansas City. No one's reviewing it. Who do we have to review to clear this case up? It's a simple fix. Who do I got to talk to? Well, I don't know. Well, great. Quality service. So we finally go through the runaround and we decide we're going to contact the Taxpayer Advocate Office in Buffalo, which the Taxpayer Advocate, it's like the equivalent of saying it would be like if the mafia created a extortion racket protection agency and put their people in front of it, and it's technically there's a technically there's a service you can talk to, but it's run by absolute boobs. So we end up meeting with the Taxpayer Advocate Office, and I sit down in front of the guy and I say, hi, my name is Duane Whitmer. I have power of attorney for this client. I'm going to talk about this tax lien. You have a tax lien. We've responded 3 different times to Kansas City and Utah and Holtzville, New York. We've gotten nothing back. You've received it because I sent everything certified. We faxed it and you've issued a response. So, we at least know you guys have gotten it. It's pending. Why are you pursuing the tax lien knowing that there are things pending? And we're trying to schedule a conference. How do we talk to you guys to deal with this? The guy looks me in the face and goes, oh, I just do intake. Great. You intook me. I'm intaken. Here I am. Who do I talk to? Well, you got to mail something to Kansas City. Done. Here's the certified letter that we mailed to Kansas City in 2019. It is 2023. It has been almost 4 years. There has been nothing. Who else can we talk to? Well, I just tell people to mail stuff to Kansas City. Great. Quality. We did that. What's next? Now what? What's your next idea? Well, I just do intake. Quality. This 65-year-old geriatric boomer fuck has no idea what he's doing. So now, still a federal tax lien. So we move on. We request a conference with the IRS, and we talk to the IRS. We get someone on the phone. Same thing. I said, my name is Duane. I'm faxing you this. Accept acknowledgement. Oh, yeah, we see that on the file. Great. Why didn't you issue a response? Oh, well, there's a delay in responding. How long? Oh, we don't know. We're short-staffed. You're not short-staffed. You don't have a short staffing problem, IRS. You have a competency and intelligent problem. That's the problem. You have the employees. They're just not educated or smart enough to do the job that needs to be done because they have no fucking clue what they're doing. That's it. They're just there. It's not otherwise employable personnel that staff these agencies. They're called NOPEs. I coined that term. Feel free to use it. That they shuffle around getting a glorified welfare paycheck to do nothing. None of them have any authority to do anything. None of them can actually do anything. They're just there existing in a space getting a paycheck because, quite frankly, if they didn't work for the government, they would starve to death in the streets. That's it. So the guy on the phone can, is there someone we can talk to? Yeah, I'll transfer you. We get hung up on. Quality. Call back. Hey, problem. Federal tax lien. Who do you talk to? Oh, you got to talk to the federal tax lien department. Quality. Get me in touch with them. We talk to the federal tax lien department. And here's what they say. We can't release the federal tax lien until the audit department says that the balance owed is released. Great. Send us to the other department. Let's have the conversation with them. We go talk to them and they say, oh, yeah, we have to talk to this department. I forget the name. But that department has to do the intake and review the system and take notes and review it. Great. Can we talk to them? Oh, no, you can't talk to them. I don't know how to put you in touch with them. So the agency we need to talk to the agency, to talk to the agency, to talk to the agency to release the federal tax lien, we can't get in touch with. Yes. Cool, man. Like, still fighting. Here's the problem. If I went to all of my clients and said, hey, all my clients, hey, Hamburg, New York, if I sent a letter to every resident of Hamburg, New York and said, you guys owe me $100. And then they said, bullshit, I don't owe you $100. And I said, hey, I received your response. I'll respond eventually. Oh, by the way, there's a lien on your property. I would go to jail. That is fraud. But when the government does it and botches it, it's like, well, they're trying their hardest. Absolutely asinine. And you wonder why people have no faith in the government. Now, I could talk about the VA's failures of veterans. It's not, everyone knows that. I can talk about the DMV's failures. Everyone knows that. But this is the shit that shows that the government central bureaucracy is a failure run by people who can't succeed in the real world, staffed by people who can't survive in the real world. Here's another great example. This is a state issue. It's Oklahoma, not necessarily a federal issue, but it's great. So one of my clients wants to get licensed in Oklahoma so we can do business in Oklahoma. He calls me and says, Duane, I want to do business in Oklahoma, so I need to get licensed in Oklahoma. Great. Let's get started. So he hires a licensing company and they say, oh, great. To do business in Oklahoma, you have to file an Oklahoma tax return, which is fine. So we file an Oklahoma tax return. It gets rejected by Oklahoma. The license gets rejected by Oklahoma. So I call Oklahoma and say, hey, my name is Duane Whitmer. I have power of attorney for Joe Smith Corporation. We're trying to get licensed in Oklahoma. There's a form we need to fill out with the tax return. I filled that form out and submitted it. You're rejecting it, saying it's not valid. And he goes, yes, we rejected the form because on the form for Joe Smith Corporation, John Smith, whatever I just said, on the form for this corporation, it says the shareholder. Yes. Well, we don't know that's the shareholder. Why not? Well, because you haven't filed this form. Okay, great. So I said, look, I have power of attorney. I'm faxing the power of attorney over. I'm handling it. You guys are the Tax Revenue Department of Oklahoma. I'm handling this. Okay, we can't accept the power of attorney. Why? Because the shareholder that signed it, we don't know he's the shareholder. Okay, fair. What form do we have to send you? Well, you have to send, and I forget, it's like, OK 204 form. It lists the corporation shareholders and stuff. Great, we'll get right on that. We'll do it. So I send it over. He goes, oh, we can't accept this. Why not? Well, because we don't know that's the shareholder. Yes, you don't know that's the shareholder. We're sending you something telling you that is, in fact, the shareholder. Yeah, but we can't accept the form because we don't know who the shareholder is. It's not registered with the Department of State. Correct. We're trying to get registered with the Department of State. Yeah, well, you can't do it with this form. What form do you have to use? Well, you have to send a tax return with this attached letter. We sent that. You rejected it. Oh, yeah, because we don't know who the shareholder is. Correct. We went back for 30 minutes before he finally realized there is no way for a foreign company technically to tell Oklahoma they're doing business and get licensed this way. Because the form they accept to get a shareholder needs another form that they don't accept because this form hasn't submitted to tell the shareholder is. This is the agency we should put in charge of our healthcare. We will all die at 42 years old. I have another example. Recently, client gets audited by the IRS. And long story short, this one's kind of a dumb one, but this is kind of fitting. So one of my clients is he owns a business that is in the service industry. He owns a restaurant. It's a restaurant. He owns a restaurant. John Smith's Pizza or something. I don't know. It's a restaurant. So he gets audited by IRS and they say, well, you didn't have an income this year. You didn't have a profit this year. And he goes, yeah, I was shut down through COVID, took a shit. My business is struggling as it is. And also I invested, $400,000 into a new equipment. And you can accelerate depreciation to zero. All you need to know is long story short, what you need to know is you can do certain things with depreciation to accelerate it, to wipe out profits. So we did that. And they're like, well, it's just weird that your restaurant didn't have any profit. And he goes, well, we did. We accelerated depreciation. And the auditor looks at him and goes, you can't do that. Okay. But in the tax code, you can. So I had to explain to an auditor that you're allowed to take accelerated Section 179 depreciation on assets that you purchase in the tax year. They're the auditors. They're the IRS. He got audited because he didn't have a profit. But, these people are the ones checking your tax returns, checking your software. Continuing with the tax stuff, 90% of my clients that get audit letters or audited by the IRS are low income. 90% of my clients receiving letters are low income. 90% of the clients I represent earn less than $50,000 a year. They're small business owners working on the side, making not a ton of money. They're getting the earned income credit and the child tax credit, and the IRS is sending them letters saying, prove your business exists. 90% of what I do is representing low-income taxpayers in front of the IRS. It's not the rich, it's not the wealthy, it's not the 1%. The IRS have shown, statistically speaking, they audit poor people more. It's shit like this that leads to the lack of faith in the system. I know it sounds stupid, it's little, but you couple that with the DMV failures, the VA failures, you couple that with, we can go into details about, Trump's indictment, which is bullshit. Not a Trump supporter, not a Trump fan, didn't vote for him, won't vote for him again. Still think it's bullshit. We can go into detail about that. You're looking at this criminal justice system. We're worried about Trump paying off a porn star, ignoring that Obama killed American civilians in the Middle East with drone strikes, ignoring that George Bush lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq so he can send my friends to die or come back all disabled and jacked up for a failed war on terrorism that should have never happened. You had Bill Clinton bombing civilian infrastructure and hospitals in Syria, or not Syria, pardon me, Bosnia. You had Bill Clinton bombing, hospitals, the civilians, and killing civilians. These are all war crimes. These people should be tried for war crimes. No, never happened. No one cares. People are losing faith in the large bureaucracy of central government, and this is why. Because it's a sham organization run by criminals. And every day it's exposed. Every day people see it. Every day people hear it. And it's just, at all levels, there is no faith in government. And this is why. And this is good. For people like me, it's good. The more people that wake up and realize that central government has failed and will fail, and these people are shitbags, the more people that walk up and walk away from that system are amazing for us. It helps us out a lot. And I encourage more people to do it. And both parties are complicit. It's not Republicans or Democrats. It's both parties. If you hate the Republican Party, you're halfway there. If you hate the Democratic Party, you're halfway there. Both parties are complicit in the massive raping, pillaging of the American taxpayers and the American citizens. It's quite honestly a sham. It's a sham organization run by criminals, and it will continue to be so. So that's it for this week. I'm pushing 15 minutes. I like to keep these short. My timer's got another minute and a half left, so I'm going to end it short today because it's a nice day out. The rain stopped. I'm going to get outside. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. As always, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to tell me what I should talk about next week. I will see you guys next Wednesday at 7 for next week's Weekly Whitmer. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great time. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, guys. Enjoy the broadcast.